So what does the best-selling author of Currency Wars and his latest, The Death of Money, make of the current state of the gold market? We have Jim Rickards joining us on the line now. Jim, I'm so glad to speak with you and get your thoughts on the current bear undertones we're seeing in the gold market. What do you make of what we're experiencing here, Jim?
Sure, Danielle. I think about it a lot. It's a great question. Look, to me, gold is a form of money. So the fact that gold is down in dollar terms, I don't think any differently about the gold, the euro, the Japanese yen, the Chinese yuan. Every currency in the world, including gold, which is a form of money, are down against the dollar. So I don't really think it's a gold story. I think it's a dollar story. We have an extremely strong dollar, and all of the alternatives, including gold, but also the euro and the yen, are way down. Now, the question is, how sustainable is this? How long can this last? This is very deflationary from a U.S. perspective. This is actually the Fed's worst nightmare. The Fed needs inflation, and that's not guesswork. The Fed has said many times. They talk about 2% inflation. That's their long-term inflation target. Their short-term inflation target, they've said publicly, it's more like 2.5%. Privately, one of the Federal Reserve Bank presidents is going on the FOMC next year, told me he'd like to see 3.5%. So here you have a strange situation where the central bank wants inflation, but they can't get it.
Jim, now, you've spoken passionately about the demise of the U.S. dollar. In fact, it's been the focal point of your books. Given the recent highs we're seeing, do you still believe in its demise? Do you think that the dollar is simply overvalued right now?
Well, it's sort of by design, I mean, yes, but in a non-sustainable way. And what I mean by that is the policymakers in the middle of the year thought the U.S. economy was on a self-sustaining path that was pretty strong. Europe was clearly in trouble. Japan was clearly in trouble. So we threw them a lifeline in the form of a strong dollar. A strong dollar means a weak yen and a weak euro designed to stimulate their economy. The problem is the U.S. economy is not nearly as strong as they thought. So we may have thrown them a lifeline, but we're going to have to pull it back. So I think the dollar is very close to a high. Gold is very close to an interim low. I look for all that to flip around next year, probably beginning of March going into June, as it becomes apparent the U.S. economy is weak. The Fed cannot raise rates, may even go to QE4. That's going to be very bearish for the dollar and bullish for gold.
Of course, when we saw the price action on Friday, we all kind of recalled Nouriel Roubini's forecast of $1,000 gold by 2015, and could he be right? Is that where we're headed?
Well, the thing is, when you see prices like Danielle, I don't just look at the price and say, oh, gee, it's going up or going down. I ask myself, what does it mean? When you see gold going down, that is a deflationary signal. Well, one thing I know is the Fed wants inflation. I don't have a crystal ball. The Fed said so. So when you know the Fed wants inflation and the market signals are telling you that deflation is winning the tug of war, then you can bet that the Fed is going to try harder to get the inflation, and they're going to succeed. Now, you can't, as Mick Jagger said, you can't always get what you want. Just because the Fed wants inflation doesn't mean it comes just like that, but they're not going to quit trying. So however, they've been going in the opposite direction with the taper. The taper will, with hindsight, we'll see that was a massive blunder, at least in terms of what the Fed's trying to accomplish. So they're going to see the taper through because they have a hawkish FOMC. Beginning in January, you have a dovish FOMC. The weakness will be apparent. The Fed is not going to raise rates. They'll probably go to QE4, and then that's going to flip gold around. So then the dollar will be going back down again, and gold will be going up.
On that note, Jim, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Danielle. Congratulations on your 5th anniversary of Kitco News.
Yes, Jim, thanks for that plug. Kitco News will indeed be celebrating its 5-year anniversary next week. We'll be bringing back our first ever guest. Also, Kitco News will be covering the Grand Cayman Liberty Forum taking place November 16th to the 20th. It features the likes of Doug Casey, Adrian Day, and our very own Peter Hugg. We'd love for you to come on down and join us. You can register at the link below. In the meantime, have a great Tuesday.